Most men over 30 are training regularly aren't just failing to build muscle, they're losing it quietly, consistently, without realizing it's happening. After 30, without deliberate progressive resistance training, muscle mass starts declining. And this is not dramatically at first, and it doesn't show up in a mirror for months, even years, but it's going. It happens to men who aren't training. And it happens to men who are training just in the wrong way. And the frustrating part is that most of these men are showing up to the gym. They're working hard, thinking they are covered. My name is Adam. I have a master's in performance nutrition, and I've helped over 200 men lose fat and build muscle. And I'm going to go over what you've likely never heard when it comes to building muscle over 30. But first, I want to preface that no matter your goal, it should be to at least maintain the muscle you have, period. It affects how you move, function, and age. So now that's out of the way, I want you to picture what a typical week looks like in terms of lifting. You get to the gym and let's be real, you can't remember what you lifted last session. Was it 6 or 8 reps? Was the weight slightly higher or slightly less? So you just pick something that feels right. You work hard and you leave feeling like you just had a good workout. And then a few months in, you watch a video on 3 exercises you must do if you're over 30 or insert age. Or maybe you try a new split because you saw some jacked guy, juiced to the gills, telling you, this is the way. Or maybe you saw another video convincing you of a specific exercise, or that your program isn't optimal. So you switch something, or maybe everything. You keep showing up and push your body, but still nothing changes. And to be honest, at this point, you're lucky if you don't get injured. But if you do, that's a different story. But the natural conclusion here is maybe there's something wrong with you, or maybe there's something wrong with the exercise selection. So you look at some shorts, you watch some YouTube videos, and you look for one with more optimal movements or some kind of smarter split. That search will reveal to you how much of a shit show the fitness industry actually is, and I'll be the first to say that. Your muscles know tension and that's it. They don't ask whether you used a barbell or a cable or some specific device. But by the same token, you can't create progressive overload if you're trying to balance on a ball or do something that's not giving you a chance to challenge your muscles correctly. I mean, you're not stable on a ball. And then if you're changing up your exercise every few weeks, how do you know what you lifted? How do you know if you're progressing? Even every few months. Your muscles don't know if you trained in a commercial gym or your garage. They know whether you challenge them hard enough to warrant the adaptation. You're putting a stress on them. They need to adapt. And the research is consistent on this. Hard sets across a wide range of equipment and loads all produce comparable muscle growth. Machines work, dumbbells work, and barbells work. What matters is loading the muscle, repeating it, and giving it a reason to grow. Machines have taken a lot of criticism over the years, but they isolate muscles effectively. They're faster to set up, and they take pressure off your joints that aren't always playing ball. And for a lot of men over 30, they can be, in some cases, the smarter choice. But free weights have advantages too. The ability to manipulate angles, the fact that compound movements recruit more muscle fibers across the body at once. Both have their place. And it doesn't mean you have to do squats, deadlifts, or bench presses, or any specific exercise. The reason I recommend weights, again, in general, over body weight for most men, isn't that body weight training is bad or doesn't work. It does. But the weight gives you a number. It's easier to track. 60 kilos or 130 pounds for 8 reps. Next session, you can try for a few more pounds or a few more kilos, or maybe 9 reps. That's progressive overload you can actually see and track. With body weight, you're counting reps maybe sometimes into the high 20s or 30s a lot of the time, not even sometimes. Then progressions can become like really harder to perform, like they just can. You want to pick movements that don't hurt you, that you can consistently load and you can track. Stop changing them up every time you get bored or you see something new and fancy online promising better results. I had a client, Richard. He'd been training seriously for 15 years when he came to me. This guy was never out the gym for long. He was consistent. And then if you looked at his routine, it was decent, wasn't bad at all. But he was frustrated in the way that most men who've been at it for years get frustrated, almost embarrassed to admit that nothing was actually changing. He looked the same. And he would argue that he started to look worse. Then I went through his training program with him and the pattern was obvious. Every 6 weeks or so, something shifted, new program, some different split or a new exercise rotation. He had a library of saved workouts on his phone, always searching for the better version of what he was already doing, adding new exercises, adding more volume. Then I asked him not to challenge him, just asked him what he'd benched the week before, weights, sets, reps. But to be honest, he fumbled, he had no idea. And that was Richard's whole problem. You cannot progress what you cannot measure. His body wasn't getting a consistent enough signal to adapt to. Every time he was close to actually overloading a movement, he'd move on to something else. And the gains he was after were being reset before they had a chance to compound. So then we stripped it back, kept most of the exercises he was already doing. He had some objections to that, but he said, we'll try it. So no real big changes here, just a few small things. Then we started logging everything. He tracked his weight and reps in an app every time he lifted. Now he had a clear number to beat or to at least match each session. And as I told him in our initial chat, if you do this, your numbers will fly up. And they did, all while being in a deficit. And this wasn't because we found him better exercises, but because for the first time, we gave his training somewhere to go. He was making incredible progress now. The action is simple. An app, which is my preference, your notes app, or even a small notebook, whatever works for you, whatever you prefer. After every working set, write down the lift, the weight, and the reps in an app. You just fill out the weight and reps. With your next session, look at it, try to beat it. It also saves you time in the long run because you can just be like, oh, this is where I left off last time. Then an extra rep, or maybe you even add weight, or maybe you just improve your form. That's all progress. Now there's a version of the exercise obsession that plays out in terms of rep ranges, and it wastes just as much time, if not more. Low reps build strength and high reps tone you up, but moderate reps build size. Men over 30 should go heavy to maintain testosterone and growth hormone. Men over 30 should go light to protect their joints. Everyone's certain, but nobody really agrees. And the research is a lot less dramatic than the debate suggests. Hard sets across a wide rep range, low, moderate, high, produce comparable growth when the sets are taken to genuine effort, close to failure. And what changes between rep ranges isn't really the outcome, it's the cost. Heavy, low rep work lets you load big compound movements significantly, which has real value. But it's more demanding on the joints and needs longer to recover between sets and sometimes to even load the bars. Now, high rep work is more joint friendly, useful for isolation exercises, for movements where heavy loading just doesn't feel right. But it can be more fatiguing. Imagine doing a set of 15 to 20 reps of squats. No thanks. Now, moderate reps sit between the two. They are repeatable, trackable, and efficient for most of your training. The backbone of a well-run session, or sessions even. And the intelligent approach is using each rep range where it makes sense. Lower reps for compound movement where the loading pattern it's going to be heavy. I mean, like I said, you're not going to do it high rep sets of like squats, deadlifts, bent over rows, presses. You could, but probably not, don't want to. Then moderate reps will be the engine for most of the session. The higher reps save for isolations, accessories, and anything your joints are telling you you have to handle with a bit more care. Now you've got a broader stimulus. The fatigue is distributed more intelligently, and generally speaking, the studies we have find when you mix rep ranges across the board, you do all rep ranges, you actually build more muscle. And it also becomes more realistic and more manageable, like for the average person, for you, for a man that's over 30. Men over 30 sit within two extremes when it comes to volume. They're either not doing enough to drive muscle growth, so they're going through the motions, showing up consistently, but never really pushing, just staying the same. Or they're doing so much they can't recover properly, and progress quietly stalls. They even regress in some lifts. Sure, more volume does produce more muscle growth. The research is clear on that. I'm not arguing that. But only to a point where you can actually recover from it, so it is individual. After that threshold, you're not building anymore. You're just generating more fatigue than your body can clear between sessions, and the training stops compounding. Like I said, you can even regress. You pick up little injuries, even bigger ones, and that sidelines you. The research is equally clear that marked strength and muscle gains are achievable with surprisingly low volume. 3 sessions a week, even 2 sets per muscle group. So 3 full bodies, 2 sets per muscle group. Focus on progressive or progression is enough for most men to see some changes. And that's not permission to train with no intent. It's permission to stop believing that more is always better. The recoverable amount for a man with a job that's outside of fitness, a family, variable sleep, and weeks that don't go to plan is usually lower than they expect. I would start with less. If you're doing more and you're not seeing the results you want, maybe back off a bit. If you've got loads of like little tweaks or pains or small injuries, back off a bit. If you're not seeing results and you're doing much lower volume because some influencer told you to, maybe try increasing the volume. But then see how you're recovering and see how you're progressing. You can spread that over 3 to 5 sessions, whatever suits you. And if you're recovering well, like I said, the numbers are moving and training quality is high, maybe you'll add some sets and maybe you'll keep it the same. See what happens and adjust based on what actually happens, not based on what a program insists should happen. So while volume leads to more muscle growth, you cannot skip over this part. I knew a guy, James, he literally ticked every other box, but he didn't train close enough to failure. He was stuck wondering what was going on. He would take his sets, he would disagree with this, but probably like 5 or 6 reps away from failure. But what you want to do is take your sets 0 to 2 reps from failure, the point where you could not safely perform another rep. And you'll know where this is because your lifts will slow down drastically. And when James started doing this, his results skyrocketed. He was making newbie gains all over again. But none of this works if you keep getting injured. And the honest truth about injury prevention isn't that you can eliminate risk entirely. You can't. But you can reduce it significantly with the 2 things that most men skip because it just feels like pointless admin. The first is a brief mobility session before you train. We're not talking about an hour of yoga, just 5 to 10 minutes moving around the joints you're about to load through their range. Your hips, shoulder, thoracic spine, whatever the session is going to demand. It doesn't have to be complex. It just needs to happen before the first working set, not skipped in favor of getting straight to the bar. But let's say you do skip mobility. You definitely don't want to skip warm-up sets on your main lifts. You want to work up to the weight gradually, especially if you're lifting heavy. A few lighter sets with the same movement pattern, increasing load progressively until you've got your working weight. This prepares the joint and it helps you practice the pattern. Also, this is underrated. It will tell you something, like if something's not right, before you load the bar with a heavier load. These 2 things combined with managing the obvious lifestyle factors like keeping stress reasonable, protecting sleep, and not running on empty consistently, they will do more for your training long term than any program switch ever could. And of course, sleep is worth an honorary mention because studies show that sleep or lack of sleep can affect training quality and recovery. So your body repairs muscle during sleep and you're consistently, let's say you are consistently getting 5 hours sleep, you're going to struggle. And injury risk goes up fairly significantly with less sleep or poor sleep. And nutrition. When it comes to nutrition, you want to make sure your calories are not too low. I wouldn't recommend less than 10 calories per pound of your body weight unless it was for a very short period of time. Then keeping protein anywhere between 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of your body weight. You can go higher, you can go a tiny bit less, but I'd recommend within that range. And you don't need 6+ meals. You don't even need 5 meals, just 3 to 4 meals to help you hit your protein target. And you can build muscle without carbs, but carbs massively stack the odds in your favor. So everything in this video, the exercise selection, the rep range, the volume, the warm up, sits in service of one thing: progressive overload, which is giving your body a constant reason to keep adapting. You stress it, it comes back stronger. I would even just call it progress, because essentially it's just progress over time that matters. You will not hit a PR every week. It's just not the way life works. I wish it did. And the research backs this across every age group, men in their 70s, 80s, who train progressively, build muscle and strength. Okay, so not at the rate of a 22-year-old, but they build it. Age is not the barrier most men think it is. Random, untracked training is the barrier. The demand has to increase over time, not necessarily every session, not every lift, but across weeks and months, the trend moves forward. You stack more weight on a bar, add more reps with the same weight. Your form has improved at the same load. Something is progressing. You cannot do that without knowing where you started. Richard's numbers went up, not because we gave him some perfect split, but because we gave his training direction. And once you can measure it, you can chase it. This is the reason muscle loss happens quietly, because when you're not tracking, you don't even notice the regression. A slightly lighter session here, set dropped there because you're tired. A lower rep count doesn't feel meaningfully different in that specific moment. Without the numbers, it's invisible. And after 30, invisibility is the real threat. Not your age, not your metabolism, not your testosterone decline. Just the absence of direction. Just the absence of direction. So keep it simple. Pick movements you can load and repeat. Track what you lift. Pivot when you have to. Progress when you can. Warm up properly. Sleep, recover, and don't skimp out on your nutrition. That's a system, and it isn't complicated. It's simple. Most men just haven't been told it straight. And if you've been showing up, working hard, and still not building, the effort was never the problem, or rarely is. Your direction is, or was. Now, all you've got to do is take all of this and apply it. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and watch this one next. I'll see you there.